I'm right here on this point. I've got a big inlet here with some big freshwater supplies that come down. Looks pretty interesting. What's your lunch, buddy? Before I head in there to the fresh, I'm going to stop by the fish market here and pick up some nice rockfish. Take with me, you know, just in case the protein supply gets a little old in there. I'm sick of eating trout or something. That's the fish I'm looking for. Nice sweet meat lingcod. Is a good eater size. Should supply me for a couple days. Alright, wait long enough and the tide goes your way. So this kelp frond going in tells me that the current's flowing into this channel, into Hessa Inlet. There's some otter feeding on shellfish around here. Right there a minute ago. I've got my fish right there. This goes back about 3 miles, so there should be something interesting, I hope. And I hope there's some fresh water and a nice campsite. We'll see. I'm kind of committing to it, riding the tide in like this. I have to ride a tide back out, or at least wait for a slack to get out of here. It's such a long, narrow passage. So I'm cleaning these guys out. This is a lingcod. And yeah, that's a big, healthy, thick piece of meat. That's only one half. Here's the other half. It's a really sweet meat that is really good fried. Well, I can do it any way I want. It's hard to mess up lingcod unless you overcook it. But yeah, it's a really great quality meat because this is a sit and wait predator, and he'll just sit at the bottom like this. He's got these enormous teeth in there. It's like a gator, alligator. See those teeth he's got? His fangs, and he'll just leap up and snap on something, latch it into his jaw. So he spends most of his time just sitting on the bottom, not doing much, which actually makes the meat really, really good. Animals that actually have to swim a lot, they kind of develop a different taste of meat, I think. At least the rockfish and stuff. But yeah, I got a couple here, so I got everything else cleaned out and I have plenty of protein. Two choices here. Down here, looks like a narrow little passage, or deeper into the bay, and it looks way down there. It looks like there's some sandy beaches, or at least less than big head-sized boulders, or bigger. But it makes sense because that down to this basin right here, that would be the right-hand turn, but that doesn't have any rivers coming down into it. The next one along is a tiny little inlet with a tiny little river running into it. And then way at the back of the bay, we got this catchment basin and that catchment. They're both draining down into the bay with a big river system that stretches this whole area. These would hold the best fresh water, and they would hold the best camping and fishing. The bigger the water, the bigger the fish. So I think I'm going to try down that way. I always come back there, but I want to camp someplace where I have a good supply of fresh water. Right, current's flying in now. Right in the middle of all the current. I'm just cruising along at 5 miles an hour without a paddle in the water. Just crazy how fast I'm going. Just had a chance meeting with some folks, and they gave me some information, lots of information. They had a much better map, much more detailed map. Apparently, I'm about here now, and I came back, and that cutoff that I passed earlier is this into Hessa Bay, Hessa Inlet. So I thought I was in Hessa Inlet and I was down there, but I'm not. I got to go through this narrow little passage, which is right there where that comes in. And apparently you need to do it when it's incoming tide like this, or it's just impossible to navigate. And then I can get back and I can go up to this little lake here. Apparently close to it anyway. But it should be pretty interesting. I'll go back and spend a couple days. They gave me information about Hunter Bay, which is this one that runs parallel to the chart lines. That has a lake system up here that you can portage to, and then it portages onward down to the south arm of Mora Sound, which of course is Johnston Lake and Keegan Lake. That's Keegan Lake. So rather than go back out and back around the Horn, I could actually portage over the middle of the island, which is basically dragging through a creek for a couple miles, and come out into Mora Sound. Lots of stuff worth considering. They said that these outer islands are very rocky and don't offer much camping or water. And the kingfishing is really bad, so the salmon's really bad. Lots of information. Lots of things to consider. It kind of rerouted my thinking about the trip. I have to digest it. But I'm flying along with the current, and I'm heading for my little gap there. And yeah, absolutely flying. I'm riding the currents in now. Committed here on this one because I think I'd struggle to paddle against this. I would not be able to get out of here on a full tide. This isn't even the biggest tides that there were. When I started the trip, the tides were 24 feet difference between high and low. And I think it's down to about 19 feet or so. It's supposed to get lower for the next few days, but yeah, it's a river. I couldn't. Yeah, it is flowing along at a solid 6 miles an hour, 7 miles an hour. This is absolutely nuts. I don't know if this is going to come out well, but like that's a whirlpool. There's so much water moving through here. So this is Hessa Inlet, right? I'm thinking the big river system's back there, and in that corner there. Yeah. Well, of course, this place is a lot bigger than I estimated, and I'm having a hard time finding these very major river mouths. I passed one little stream. It was just a trickle. This is definitely a river mouth with the tree, the gap in the tree. Yeah, this must be one of the major river systems coming in. That green moss on the rocks is a giveaway that fresh water is in the area. Enough wood here for break apart and make a fire. There's a little natural shelter here. Oh, what's that? That came out of some animal. Ooh, that's bear poo. You know, bears prefer this area. Well, bears are everywhere. Guess this is it. Tide's coming in still. But it looks like there's a place to hang my food right there. So that would work. A shelter, a place to hang a food. Enough wood for a fire and fresh water. I guess I'm gonna have to take set up. Starting to drizzle lightly, but all big storms start to drizzle lightly. Food up there on a stick, a tree. That's a good spot. Kind of over the water a little too. Got my stuff out. I'm gonna eat for dinner. Camp set up there, kayak, everything unloaded. So this is cedar plank. This is a busted down cedar tree. These are all red, western red cedar. But go in here, make any plank you want. I'm gonna use that to cook the fish on. Dip it in the salt water, put the fish on it, put it on the fire. That brought some granular salt this time. Sea salt. Tap that down on the top of the fish, skin side down, on a cedar plank, and just kind of let it smoke, slowly heat up. It's gonna take probably a good hour to cook this piece. I'm doing the other one kind of conventional in a pot over there. So both halves of the fish. Yeah, so ling cut on the pot's done in a hurry, of course, but there's just a couple big bones in it. I'll take those out. Skin comes right off when it cooks, and they're really no scales to speak of. They're really small on a ling cod, more like skin, but it's not skin because it's a fish. Put some cheese on there because I have it, and make myself a little taco. That guy's cooking away over there. I could say that's going to take about an hour to cook that guy. Very smoky flavor on that one. Rain stopped. Turned out to be a really nice evening. So I went to town on the other piece and ate it all, and 4 tacos and all the cheese I had. I guess I was really hungry. That's a lot of fish. And this side, it's going along pretty good. Just getting that thicker portion in the middle done. It's cooking on the skin, so when it's done, it'll just peel right off the skin. Leave the skin on the board. Rain tomorrow, according to that forecast. But I might just stay here tomorrow. This is a really nice little camp, actually. Turned it out pretty good. I'm not going to get any freshwater lake in, but yeah, it might be Dolly Varden's right out here. There's certainly a seal right there, staring at me. Everybody's staring at me. But it seems like I got this whole basin to myself. So I might just stay here and play. Sleep a lot, rest up.